Thank you for joining another edition of the AARP Foundation Experience Corps in your community. My name is O.S. Owen, and I'll be your host. I am the volunteer recruiter for the Chicago branch, and today we have some special guests in our studio. We have not just Chicago, we have D.C., we have Philadelphia, and we have Baltimore. Ladies, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Please, introduce yourself and look at our viewing audience and tell them who you are.
Hi, my name is Lavonne Nichols. I am the Philadelphia recruiter for AARP Foundation Experience Corps in Philadelphia, and we have an amazing group of volunteers. We consist of about 350 volunteers that cover our 31 elementary schools in Philadelphia, from the far northeast of Philadelphia to South Philly and everywhere in between. We are just trying to help students with reading.
And how long has the program been going on?
We've been in existence for over 20 years in Philadelphia.
So that's one of the oldest programs that we have.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we in Chicago have been here since 2013. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Tiffany?
So I'm Tiffany Sanford for Baltimore City. We have 270 volunteers in 25 schools across the metro area. We service children in grades pre-K through 3rd, helping them become stronger readers. Our volunteers are leading the next generation of readers.
Absolutely. Now, if you're just tuning in with us, we are Experience Corps. And what we do is we recruit those that are 50 and over to be tutors and mentors in the schools to help folks learn how to read. Now, we have 22 other programs, but today we have four of the programs here in Chicago. They've been visiting all week with us, and I've been learning some new things from these ladies. Now, ladies, let's kind of get into it just a little bit. Why is it important to volunteer with the AARP Foundation Experience Corps program?
Well, studies have shown, we have studies with Johns Hopkins University and Washington State University that talks about the benefits of volunteering, not just the physical, but also mental, helping to delay Alzheimer's and dementia because you're engaged. The volunteers are engaged with young students, so while they're teaching them skills, they're also learning skills themselves.
Excellent, and that's true, and we all know from our own experience that it increases the sense of purpose, sense
absolutely.
of giving back. It changes the lives, not just for the volunteers, but for the students as well. And teachers have told us, and principals have said that they can't do it alone, that the emotional and mental support that our volunteers bring makes all the difference. Now, for our listening audience, our viewing audience, if you have family or friends in D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia, please let them know that this program is also available to them. And we're always encouraging you to find things to be able to give back, to make a difference. So let's talk a little more about the program. In fact, what's the impact that this is having on our young scholars?
The impact is, we can't even really measure completely the impact that our volunteers have on our students. It might seem simple going into a classroom and helping a student 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days a week, but it has lifelong rewards for our volunteers. Just being a positive role model for our students. Some don't have positive role models, and to have someone come in consistently with a positive attitude that is there for them means so much to a student. So not only are they helping them with the reading and giving and finding purpose in that, but the students have an amazing role model to mirror and to see what can actually happen in their lives. So it's an amazing experience.
I mean, you don't have to make a child to make them yours.
Absolutely.
And a lot of our children don't have the emotional and mental support that's needed to kind of get through school. And in this day and age, reading is everything. Can you imagine your life without reading?
Absolutely not.
Could not.
And our volunteers come with lifelong experiences. That's why we call Experience Corps, because those who are out there who want to join, who should join, you're bringing your experience to the table. I mean, you've raised wonderful families. You've had successful careers. Yes. Who would be best to benefit and receive all of those than our young scholars, our kindergartners, our first graders, our second graders, and our third graders? And I think that's what really motivates and encourages me. Now, let me ask you this. What is the benefit for the volunteer? I mean, other than they come to class, they give back to the student, but outside of that, what are the benefits that our programs offer the volunteers?
Okay. Well, our volunteers receive a lot of benefits from us, just through the relationships that they're building with the students. There's also a social network that they're building at the school with their volunteer peers. In Baltimore City, we do provide learning classes for our volunteers, such as Spanish and French. We have a lot of social engagements, proms, senior proms for our volunteers who get to come out and get dressed up and blow off some steam and have a great time for the evening. But we also have workshops to help them through learning to meditate, learn to do yoga, different things to help alleviate stress. Also, we do workshops talking about entitlements, such as the 5 wishes, writing, will writing, things of that nature. So it's a well-rounded program for the older adult who's participating, giving their time to help the students. And so we want to give back to them.
Well, we're life learners.
Absolutely.
We never stop learning, even until the point that we transition, we learn how to transition. And the benefits that we do here in Chicago are very similar. We have a coffee and conversation, we do a paint and sip, we go to movies, we go to plays. I mean, social isolation is a killer, and and more so with men than with women. If you didn't belong to a fraternity or sorority or a close church family, you could find yourself isolated. So all of the things that you guys do in Baltimore and Philadelphia, we do here in Chicago, and we do in D.C., and that's so important. And I want our audience to know that it's not just tutoring and mentoring. It's a whole lifestyle change. And if you're going through life and you feel like you're alone and you have more to offer, we're here to receive your gifts and your skills, your physical, your mental, your emotional. And what I also want to ask is that now, how did you get involved with this phenomenal program? I mean, what draws you to do this every day? Because it's strenuous work.
Well, actually, I've always been a community organizer, have had a love to help the community come together and be better. But when I saw the posting for the position of this actual AARP, I already knew, as, someone that is of my age, I already knew that AARP just had a strong name in the community, that people respected it, and it was something I wanted to be a part of. So I have loved my experience being able to help students with their reading, but then being able to enhance the lives of people 50 and older. It's been an amazing experience for me. I've learned a lot.
Okay, so what's the phone number in Philadelphia?
So the phone number is 267-592-4459.
So if you have friends and family that are in Philadelphia and you want to share this with them, have them call
267-592-4459.
Excellent. And Tiffany, what inspires you to be with the program?
So I came to the program from a different angle. My son had a tutor in his classroom who was helping him, and he had some learning disabilities. And so she and I worked together to make it a great learning experience for him in the classroom. That's how I came to find out about it. And so this program marries my favorite two groups of people, younger people and older people. And so bringing them together to do this intergenerational program, I wanted to be a part of it in any way I could. So I was able to get hired with a Experience Corps.
Well, you ladies are making a tremendous difference. I see the reports, I see the stats, and for our audience, we are with the AARP Foundation, and AARP is a huge enterprise. At the very, very top is that AARP with the little red card that everybody knows about, and that's the 501c3 organization that advocates for our benefits in D.C. Underneath that, comes the foundation. We don't buy anything, we don't sell anything, we just do programming. And we have 4 areas of focus: senior hunger, senior poverty, senior isolation, and senior housing. And our program goes to 2 of the 4, senior isolation and senior poverty. And folks say, well, how does this go to senior poverty? And I says, well, our young people, our young scholars, at some point in time, they grow up. And they grow up to be not just adults, but they grow up to be seniors. And if you're not reading at 3rd grade, well, you've got big mama problems for the rest of your life, because the next benchmark is 7th grade. Do you know that right now in our world, we've got about 20 million people from the ages of 25 to 50 that cannot read, that are illiterate? How could that be? We're in a land of pocket computers, self-driven automobiles, and we have individuals that cannot read. So this is so life-changing, so very important. I know here in Chicago we have some students who were labeled as bad kids. And they really weren't bad kids. They just didn't read well, and we all know how brutally honest children can be in the classroom. So they were embarrassed when they were called upon to read. So they said, well, instead of you embarrassing me, I'm going to embarrass you. Yeah. And now they get the label as being a bad kid. And that's just so unfortunate. So I'm very happy to have you all here. We've spent the week together. We've learned a lot. We've talked a lot. We've grown. We've shared ideas. And that's just encouraged me in the work that we do with the foundation. And as us being Experience Corps, we're inviting you to bring your skills, to bring your time and your talents to our program, where you can encourage young folks to be the best version of themselves, where you can help guide them through the fluency part of the program. And fluency is just reading like you speak. And we encourage you not just to talk about it, but to pass it on. If you're not available, you know someone that could. You know someone that's isolated. You know someone that's looking for an opportunity to change the life of a young scholar and to change their lives as well. And we have wonderful social stuff for our volunteers. I might have to come on down to Philly and Baltimore and hang out in some of those things.
I want to give the information for Baltimore.
Please do.
Contact us, 443-278-9400.
Once again?
443-278-9400 or join ecbaltimore.org.
Okay. Now, if you're just tuning in again, we are AARP Foundation Experience Corps, and we're constantly looking for folks to volunteer, those that are over 50, to be tutors and mentors in our schools, working with kindergartners, first graders, second graders, and third graders. Our number here in Chicago is 312-660-8655. That's 312-660-8655. And if you have family or friends or folks in D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia, please give us a call in Chicago and we can connect you with our counterparts in D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia. Now we have joining the show with us, we have Denise. Well, I can't keep all the pretty ladies in my head together. We have Denise from D.C. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, hello. My name is Denise Fraction, and I am the recruiter with AARP Foundation Experience Corps in Washington, D.C.
And how long your program's been going on?
Oh my goodness, we have been in existence since 1999, so it's actually just 20 years, so we're very proud to have reached that 20
So
year
we've got 20, almost 22 4. You got 60, 65, 70 years of doing this work in the communities. Now we talked to our other coworkers. How did you come to the program, and what motivates you to stay with the program?
Sure. Well, I've had a lot of experience working with volunteers in general. I've worked with children, and I have worked with adults, and I love the fact that this program marries the two together. It's so important for us as adults to get involved in our communities and to really give back. And this is a program where you don't just give back, you're able to really see the impact that you're making in the lives of young people. And I just love that. As a recruiter, I have to really believe in what I do and really feel that I'm helping to make a difference. And what I know is with our volunteers, they're making a difference. And so I loved everything about the program and wanted to be a part of it.
Now, share a couple of stories with us. You get a couple of stories, you give a couple of stories, and just to let our viewing audience know that this is for real and that this program is changing the lives of not just the students, but the volunteers and the teachers, the schools. And when we have men in the schools, well, it just changes the whole thing. So share some stories with us, please.
Well, it's funny you mentioned, the impact that men have, and all of our volunteers are so important. But, especially our male volunteers have an ability to really reach the children in a way that is so important. I can tell you about an experience where I did a site visit at one of our school sites at the beginning of the school year. This was actually last year, and the young gentleman, that the student that was working with the volunteer, at the beginning of the year, he was so shy, and I was kind of observing, and I felt, that maybe my presence was making him a little nervous. He was embarrassed because he couldn't read very well, and he struggled through the session with the volunteer. The volunteer was wonderful. He was very encouraging, but the young man was just, I could tell, a bit embarrassed because he just couldn't, wasn't able to read the book with the authority that he wanted to.
I like that word, authority,
Yes.
confidence.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
But so later in the school year, I came back, and the young man was sitting with his volunteer again, and they were working together, reading the booklet. And I said, "Oh, I can step out. I don't have to watch." He said, "No, I want you to read the book. I want you to see me read my book." And he was so excited and so proud of how he had gone from really struggling to being able to read his book fluently, to read it with pride. And I was so excited for him. It was, it really just reinforced it's not just teaching young people literacy, but it's giving them power and it's giving them confidence. And, for this volunteer to have made such an impact in this young man's life, he even sat up so proud and he was beaming because he saw the impact that he made. And so that was great for me to witness that. See?
Excellent, excellent. You got a story for us?
I actually do have a story. I'm going to tell you a story about our volunteers. So like you said, we're trying to enhance the lives of our volunteers. And whenever we can highlight our volunteers and talk about the great work that they're doing,
Yes.
they dedicate lots of hours, hundreds of hours to our students. And so when we can highlight them, we highlight them on Facebook, or we nominate them for different awards. And so we've had volunteers in our program who have won the Mayor's Distinguished Volunteer Award several years in a row. We've had volunteers who have won cruises from Cabot Cheese and 8-day Alaskan cruises, just because we want to make sure that you know that we appreciate what you're doing.
Yes.
What you're doing, volunteering,
Yes.
is a work of the heart. And we can't pay you for what you do, but if we can highlight you, if we can tell you how much we appreciate what you're doing to help the life of someone else, we are definitely going to do that in Experience Corps.
Well, we are Experience Corps, and we are guiding the next generation of readers. The more you read, the more you lead. The more you lead, the more you read. Readers are leaders, and leaders are readers. And we get the supreme pleasure to bring the two together, to bring our young scholars who are thirsty, who are dying, who are starving for this, and our professional adults who are in a part of their life where sometimes they feel that they're not needed, and that's the worst thing. You're not needed, but yes, you are needed. We need you here in Chicago. We need you here in Philadelphia. We need you here in Baltimore, and we need you here in D.C. And please, if you've got family and friends out there in any of these states, any of these cities, I should say, give us a call. We have plenty of students, we have plenty of schools. Now, let me ask you this. Okay, now this program has been going on 20 years for the most part. What do you see the future of Experience Corps?
Wow, that's a good question. I see with our leadership, we have a structured tutoring session that is helping our students in leaps and bounds. And so we just will continue to help support the teachers, help support the school system. We see this being us reaching even more cities and states in the United States. We see this going so far.
And when you have the structured session, it makes it easier because
Yes.
you don't have to be a teacher, you don't have to be a paraprofessional. 3 things you have to have. You have to love children. You gotta love them, not like them, but you gotta love them. 2, understand the value and the power of reading.
Yes.
Imagine your life without reading. And then 3, the capacity, the capability of doing it. Most people can, so please, 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 if you're looking for something meaningful, something purposeful, look to us. What do you see Experience Corps, the future?
Well, we're growing. We're growing. I believe we just brought on a new site just the other day, so we continue to grow. And with that, as we grow in new states, new cities, it's so important that our volunteers grow. And it's inevitable that it's going to happen. And I'll say, I can tell you one of the things that's so wonderful about this program that I think we can all attest to is that while we are out there sharing the good word of Experience Corps, so many of our volunteers come from other volunteers telling them about the work that they do.
Yes.
And so that's always exciting. But what we are excited to see are, churches that get involved, fraternities and sororities that are interested in adopting a school or getting involved in a school. Oh, as I know your fraternity, has here in Chicago has is covering an entire school as far as, I should say, the students that we work with at one school. So I see different organizations getting involved and more people spreading the word about Experience Corps. And with each volunteer that comes on board, that's 7 or 8 new students that we're able to serve. That's huge. We're so excited about that. The need is there, and we continue to meet the need because of people that are listening and see that they can make a difference.
And this is not just this is not a reading program. This is a tutoring and mentoring program. We're guiding our young scholars on not just how to read, but how to act, how to perform, how to have self-confidence, to be courage, to talk, to stand up and be proud and be present in a room. And in this world, we know that presentation is everything. And it starts when you're young. The two of you have been doing such a phenomenal job. And I want our audience to know that recruiting has been challenging. It's been difficult. And we need your help to spread the word.
Yes.
We have great supporters. However, we couldn't do this work without you. We're in Chicago. We're in D.C. We're in Baltimore. We're in Philadelphia. From what I understand, this program is in 22 other cities throughout the United States. Now, we're the branches, so we're kind of like the flagships. However, we can't do this work alone. And the teachers tell us and the principals tell us that it takes more than them to teach these children. It takes the village, and here is the village, and I'm so proud and happy to be a part of this village. You all have been with the agency a lot longer than I have, and I've learned so much from you. And thank you for the support, and your dedication that you do is countless. So now let's go again one more time. Give me the phone number.
Sure. Washington, D.C., 202-434-6349. That's my direct line. Call me, and I'll make sure that I give you any information you need.
Phone
And
number?
in Philadelphia, it's 267-592-4459. And if I can say, OS, you've been amazing. Thank you for having us on your show. In Chicago, you
It's
have
our
children-
show.
Our show.
Our show.
Chicago has been amazing. Amazing.
It's amazing because of all of you. And what's the number in Baltimore?
443-278-9400.
A little louder because I can't hear you.
443-278-9400.
Okay, now, this is what happens when you have great people to come together of like minds, who are committed, who are passionate, and we're all here to serve. We're serving each other. And I think the AARP model is to serve, not to be served. Isn't that powerful? And also the possibilities of possibilities. What was impossible yesterday has become possible today. And with all of our help, continuing support, and guidance, we can change the world by preventing illiteracy. We can change the world by encouraging and motivating our young scholars to be the best readers that they can be. For we're going to depend on them to guide us, to guide our country. This is a new decade. We are in 2020, and I call it perfect vision. 20 years from now, we're going to have stories that are phenomenal to talk about the things that our tutors have done and that our young scholars have done. And I'm willing to bet out of all of that, we're going to have a young scholars that will be the president, that will be the vice president, that will create and be innovative and leaders as we are in our respective fields. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the folks from AARP and AARP Foundation. I'd also be remiss if I didn't thank our branch directors for guiding us, supporting us, and giving us the freedom to be creative. And I've got to talk about our producer, the Black Butterfly. He's the consummate professional. He's always looking to find new ways to improve our and to get this message out. And just thank all of you for being a part of our family. We here at AARP, we believe, the AARP Foundation, that the greatest compliment that you can pay anyone is when you choose to spend your time with them. So we appreciate you all spending your time with us. One more time, 312-660-8655. If you know anyone looking to volunteer to be a tutor or mentor for kindergartners, first graders, second graders, and third graders, please give us a call at 312-660-8655. We're in Chicago. We're in Philadelphia. We're in Baltimore. We're in D.C. And we just really appreciate you out there. We could not do this without you and your commitment. On behalf of everyone here, thank you so much. Please tune in to the next version of AARP Foundation Experience Corps in your community. We'll look to see you then.